The scene shifts to a high-tech briefing room inside the academy. A group of staff members are gathered around a table, reviewing the latest enrollment data. The Minister of Admissions takes a long drag from his cigarette, looking over the freshman test results. He's ready to give his final summary of this year's intake. He notes that 1,360 students have been enrolled across 12 classes. The breakdown shows a wide range of rankings, with over half the students starting at rank F. But the real shock comes next. This year, a total of 15 students achieved the prestigious S-rank evaluation. It's an unusually high number for a single batch. The news sends a ripple of excitement through the room. The instructors can't believe they've landed such a fierce batch of freshmen this year. Wang Dalen leans back with a smug grin, bragging that his class produced 2 of those talented students. An instructor sitting nearby notes that her class has 2 as well, but they only reached B rank. The minister puts out his cigarette, confirming the presence of 13 high-tier, talented students among the group. He thanks everyone for their hard work during the recruitment. Kyu Chuan, instructor, rests his head on his hand, looking disappointed. It seems his class didn't produce a single standout talent this time around. The minister turns to Chin Chuan, noting that while Class 7 didn't reach the safe zone, they did manage to set 2 school history records. Chin Chuan looks surprised, wondering what kind of records those could be. The Minister of Admissions continues, holding up a finger to drive his point home. He explains that it's unheard of for a single class to produce 2 S-rank students who don't even possess inherent talents. He gestures to the holographic screens behind him, displaying the statistics for Class 7. He reveals the first record. One of those students has broken the highest intelligence stat record for a freshman in the history of the academy. Chin Chuan looks on in total disbelief as the second record is mentioned. It's the polar opposite, the lowest comprehensive stat record ever recorded for a new student in school history. The minister notes that these 2 records belong to the same 2 students who earned those S-rank evaluations. This anomaly is so intriguing that even the principal has taken a personal interest in them. Back in the academy halls, the teleportation is complete. Xiao Lin stands among the other survivors, feeling his body instantly heal as his digitized wounds vanish into thin air. His system interface updates with the final mission results. He's officially cleared all 3 tutorial objectives, earning a comprehensive S-rank along with 40 credits and 800 exchange points. Xiao Lin stares at the screen, still a bit dazed from the fight. He clearly remembers blacking out, yet the system shows he somehow completed the first mission of reaching the safe zone. He catches a glimpse of Gu Xiaoyu walking past, surrounded by a faint blue digital glow. He wonders if she was the one who carried him to safety after he collapsed in the cave. Suddenly, a familiar voice calls out his name from down the hall. A student he helped during the goblin attack comes running toward him, her face lit up with relief. She thanks him and Gu Xiaoyu profusely, knowing she wouldn't have secured an A-rank evaluation without their help. She's clearly grateful to have made it through the ordeal. The girl looks down humbly, admitting she felt useless when she was knocked out by the shockwave's aftereffects. She's desperate to know if they actually managed to kill the Goblin King after she went down. Xiao Lin gives her a small, confident smile and confirms that they finished the job. The girl is overjoyed, her faith in their abilities fully rewarded. A sharp grunt from nearby kills the mood. Wang Dalen stands there, looking thoroughly annoyed by Xiao Lin's presence and success. He scoffs, attributing Xiao Lin's survival to nothing more than dumb luck. In his eyes, someone with such garbage stats would have died hundreds of times if they hadn't clung to Gu Xiaoyu's coattails. He shuts his mouth the moment Gu Xiaoyu herself approaches. She walks past him with her usual cold composure, her eyes fixed solely on Xiao Lin. Gu Xiaoyu stops in front of Xiao Lin and adjusts her glasses. She tells him directly that she needs to speak with him alone about the battle they just finished. They move to a quiet corner of the hallway, away from the prying eyes of the other students. The atmosphere between them is quiet but heavy with unsaid questions. Gu Xiaoyu starts by thanking him for his help in the safe zone. Xiao Lin brushes it off with a casual smile, saying it was just a mutually beneficial move to maximize their rewards. She pushes her glasses up, looking him straight in the eye. She knows the truth. Without him interrupting the Goblin King's skill, she never would have found the opening for the final blow. Zio Lin goes quiet, realizing just how perceptive she is. He can see her mental gears turning, calculating every detail of his performance during the fight. She points out that based on his stat values, it should have been theoretically impossible for him to interrupt a boss like that. She acknowledges he has secrets, but promises to keep them for him if anyone asks. Zio Lin rubs the back of his neck, offering a sincere thank you. He's relieved she isn't planning to pry into his hidden talent or how he pulled off those moves. Gu Zioyu pulls out a nameplate and suggests they add each other as friends. She explains that the smart brain system built into the plates has a convenient communication function. Zio Lin agrees, and she begins to guide him through the process. She tells him to silently recite the words "smart brain" to pull up his personal interface. He follows her instructions, focusing on the command. Blue digital particles begin to swirl around him as the system responds to his thought. His basic info screen appears, showing his current stats and resources. He's sitting on a decent pile of points, but his attributes are still painfully low across the board. Gu Zioyu asks for his student ID to send the request. He glances at his panel and reads out his identification number for her. A friend request notification pops up on his screen a moment later. It's from Gu Zioyu, waiting for his confirmation to link their accounts. He taps the accept button, and the system confirms the new connection. It seems he's officially made his first ally in this strange new world. Suddenly, a loud, booming voice echoes through the hall. Qin Chuan stands there with his arms crossed, ordering everyone with an F-rank evaluation to assemble at the entrance immediately. He doesn't go easy on the rest of the students either, telling them to stop standing around. He commands everyone else to open their map navigation and head straight to the central playground. Qin Chuan scans the crowd with a sharp gaze, making sure no one is lagging behind. Zio Lin and Gu Zioyu exchange a quick look as they prepare to move. Zio Lin gives a short nod and starts walking toward the exit. He's curious about what the academy has planned for them now that the tutorial phase is over. As he walks, Zio Lin opens his holographic map. He notes that to get to the playground from the public classroom area, they'll have to cut through the courtyard. He steals a glance at Qin Chuan in the distance, wondering about the instructor's motives. He can't tell if Qin Chuan was looking for Gu Zioyu because of her S-rank, or if he's noticed something about Zio Lin's performance. They emerge into the sunlight, facing a massive stadium and playground area. Thousands of students are already gathering on the green field under the bright sky. Zio Lin looks around at the growing crowd, feeling a bit overwhelmed by the sheer number of people. He wonders if having so many people missing from the real world at once will cause some kind of massive commotion. Gu Zioyu catches up to him and asks if he's doing okay. He realizes he might have been lost in his own thoughts for a second too long. A voice shouts for everyone to make way, cutting through the chatter. The crowd begins to part as the upperclassmen start to organize the massive assembly. A young man with blue hair leads the way, his expression calm and professional. He instructs the students to stand in their class formations and avoid crowding together. He steps up to a podium, flanked by other high-ranking staff members. A floating blue crystal orbits the stage, casting a soft light over the assembly. He introduces himself with a polite smile as the student council president of the academy. He's the one officially welcoming the new freshmen to their first formal ceremony. Students gather on the playground as a voice announcement echoes through the area. The principal is running late, so the ceremony is starting without him. Suddenly, a thunderous roar shakes the entire academy, drowning out the announcement. Zio Lin looks up, his sharp eyes narrowing as he senses something massive approaching. The crowd erupts in confusion, students pointing and shouting as the sound grows louder. Everyone is on edge, wondering what could make such a terrifying noise. A gigantic purple dragon descends from the heavens, its massive wings casting a dark shadow over the terrified freshmen. It's a literal beast from legend appearing right before their eyes. Zio Lin's eyes go wide in disbelief as he stares at the creature. He's stunned to see a real dragon in the flesh, a far cry from anything in his old world. The dragon opens its maw, letting out another bone-rattling roar. Its glowing eyes and sharp teeth make it look like a predator that could wipe them all out in an instant. The sheer presence of the beast is paralyzing. Xiao Lin finds himself unable to take a single step, his body frozen by a deep physiological fear. Beside him, even the brilliant Gu Xiaoyu is visibly shaking, her usual composed demeanor shattered. She stands stiffly, her eyes wide with the same instinctive terror gripping everyone else. The dragon lands with a heavy thud near the staff desk, whipping up a fierce wind. Perched calmly on its back is an elderly man with long white hair and a flowing beard. He hops down with a casual smile, apologizing for the delay. He mentions he had to handle a few things on the way, as if riding a dragon was just a normal commute. This is the principal of Dawn Academy, an imposing figure in gray and purple robes. He carries a large staff with glowing purple orbs, radiating an aura of immense power. The student council president, a blue-haired young man in a vest, greets him with a nervous look. He politely mentions that the principal's entrance was a bit too grand for a simple ceremony. The principal just scoffs at the comment, retorting that he didn't ride the big lizard just to show off. He clearly has no patience for the president's formalities. He explains that he was in a rush and riding the dragon was the only way to get back in time. The beast behind him looks slightly annoyed as the principal talks about it like a common taxi. He even threatens to skin the dragon for a sofa if it scares the students again. The dragon lets out a small, cowed puff of smoke, clearly terrified of the old man. Xiao Lin watches the exchange, realizing this man is the only one with the authority to see his hidden talent. He knows he has to be extremely careful around someone this powerful. Turning to the crowd, the principal notes that he's seen the entrance test results and admits this batch of freshmen is actually quite good. His sharp blue eyes sweep across the students, as if he's peering directly into their souls. It's a gaze that feels like it's searching for something specific. Xiao Lin feels the weight of that stare and tenses up, his analytical mind already trying to figure out the man's angle. The principal slams the base of his staff into the ground, activating an amplification spell. A magical circle glows beneath him as his power pulses through the air. He decides to skip the formalities and his own name, figuring that the students have more pressing things on their minds. He acknowledges that many of them were invited here under baffling or even unpleasant circumstances. He knows they're probably feeling pretty bitter about the whole thing. He tells them to take their complaints to the admissions department for delivering letters at such ungodly hours. He points a finger at a sweating staff member who can only offer a weak salute. The freshmen look around, some still processing the old man's blunt honesty, while others just look relieved the dragon isn't eating them. Suddenly, the principal's tone shifts, becoming cold and serious. He tells them it's time to drop the jokes and face reality. Raising his arms, he declares their true role to the world. They aren't just students anymore, they are colonists. He reveals the name of their new world, Planet Norma. Behind him, images of exotic beasts and vast, uncharted lands appear in the sky. He explains that the sole purpose of Dawn Academy is to train the most outstanding pioneer colonists for this new world. Monstrous creatures loom in the background as he speaks, a grim reminder of the dangers they will soon face. He makes it clear that their ordinary lives ended the very moment they opened their admission letters. There is no going back to the way things were. He tells them that starting today, some might become great generals, commanding legions and conquering vast new lands. Others might rise as grand magi, seeking the ultimate truth and wielding the very laws of magic. He even suggests some might become the leaders and kings who forge the rules of that new world. The possibilities for power are endless. The promise of strength and immortality has the crowd buzzing with excitement. For many, the treasures of Planet Norma represent a chance at a life they never dreamed of. Finally, he announces a new rule that breaks long-standing tradition. Usually, freshmen are strictly forbidden from entering the new world, but the top 3 students in the upcoming exam will earn the right to go early. The principal's gaze becomes incredibly heavy, emphasizing the gravity of this decision. This is a shortcut to power, but also a massive risk. The student council president tries to interject, worried about the safety of the freshmen, but he quickly mumbles that he misspoke under the principal's glare. With the new rule established, the principal dismisses the assembly, telling them he's done with the nonsense. The president can only bow and follow him out. Zio Lin stays behind, deep in thought about the president's extreme reaction. He suspects the early entry reward is much more dangerous than the principal let on. As the crowd thins out, a voice calls out to him. It's a familiar, authoritative tone that catches his attention. He turns to see instructor Chin Chuan standing there, looking as rough and intimidating as ever. Zio Lin wonders what the instructor could possibly want with the student with the lowest stats in school. Chin Chuan explains the situation. Since the top student Gu Zioyu refused, the monitor position for Class 7 falls to the next person in line, Zio Lin. He tells Zio Lin to pay attention, because being a monitor comes with major perks like extra credits, resource quotas, and special privileges. A holographic notification confirms the appointment as Chin Chuan points out that, for a deadweight like him, this position is a vital lifeline. The instructor waves him off, saying the AI will send over the freshman manual, and he should just figure it out on his own. Zio Lin stands alone on the field, the word privileges echoing in his head as he wonders exactly what kind of door this has opened for him. He heads over to the student dormitories, a massive residential complex where he'll be living during his time at Dawn Academy. At the reception desk, a sophomore with short brown hair named Zhang Tingting is busy explaining the strict nighttime rules to the newcomers. She gives Zio Lin a cold, dismissive look as he approaches, clearly seeing him as just another typical freshman. However, her eyes instantly sparkle with excitement when she checks his ID and realizes he's actually the class monitor. She does a complete 180, patting his shoulder and insisting that anyone who manages to snag a monitor spot must be extraordinary. Zio Lin watches as she hands over his new uniforms, explaining that his grade is represented by the green fabric. She takes him up to his room, a single dorm exclusive to monitors, while pointing out that everyone else has to share a double. She hands him his gold ID tag, warning him not to lose it since it's used for everything from the curfew to class attendance. Tingting winks and offers to be his mentor, telling him to hit her up whenever he has questions about his new life at school. As she waves goodbye, Zio Lin can't help but notice how much friendlier she became the second she heard about his monitor status. He settles into his room, fully realizing that in this academy, power and rank dictate how everyone treats you. He decides it's time to get to work and summons his holographic course schedule to start planning his curriculum. A massive list of courses appears, ranging from basic swordsmanship to the geography and languages of the New World. Zio Lin stares at the interface, his jaw dropping at the sheer number of classes he's expected to handle. He breaks into a cold sweat, realizing that even with the required courses, he still needs to pick 4 more attribute-based classes. He forces himself to calm down, reminding himself that while the workload is insane, his hidden, prodigy talent makes it possible. He knows his weak attributes are a fatal liability, so his only option is to improve them as fast as humanly possible. The 100% boost to learning efficiency from Prodigy is his trump card, and he knows he can't afford to waste a single drop of its potential. He selects basic swordsmanship as his main combat focus, figuring it's the most versatile skill for someone starting with nothing. He rounds out his schedule with physical arts and meditation, aiming to boost both his survivability and his mental focus. The holographic menu lists his final selections, including general history and the common language of Norma. With his course selection confirmed, Zio Lin steels his resolve, knowing that in this academy, strength is the only thing that matters. The next day, Zio Lin is already at the swordsmanship training ground, the rhythmic sounds of wooden blades striking posts echoing through the air. He focuses intently on each swing, watching the experience points for his basic swordsmanship tick up with every hit. His prodigy talent is fully active, highlighting the optimal mechanics of each strike as his learning efficiency doubles. He continues to strike with a relentless rhythm, realizing that as long as he grasps the fundamentals, his progress will only get faster. A system message pops up, confirming he's reached level 3 in swordsmanship and that his strength attribute has already increased from 2 to 3. Zio Lin pauses to catch his breath, realizing that his theory was correct. Leveling up his skills is the most direct way to drive his base attribute growth. Nearby, another freshman collapses on the ground, weeping that he can't take it anymore, and his arms are ready to fall off. A large sword slams into the stone floor as a stern voice mocks the pathetic performance of this year's new students. This is Cheng Na, a third-year student with long purple hair serving as their substitute teacher. She's a strict instructor who demands absolute excellence. She declares that no one is leaving the training ground until their basic swordsmanship proficiency reaches level 3, ignoring the whimpering of a student clinging to a post. The students are in total despair, knowing that reaching level 2 alone usually takes hours of non-stop swinging. Zio Lin walks right up to the intimidating instructor, his expression neutral despite the sweat on his face. He informs her that he's already reached the level 3 requirement and asks for permission to leave for his next class. Cheng Na gives him a skeptical, side-eyed glance, her arms crossed as she sizes up the unassuming freshman. She asks if he's kidding, pointing out that it's only been 2 hours into their very first day of school. Cheng Na towers over Zio Lin, looking down on him with clear disdain. She can't believe a lucky guy with such pathetic stats managed to leech off his team for an S-rank evaluation. Her eyes narrow as she questions his claim of having level 3 swordsmanship. To her, it sounds like a desperate excuse from a freshman just trying to skip her class. Zio Lin doesn't back down, gesturing for her to just check his status panel if she doesn't believe him. He stands his ground despite the instructor's intimidating presence. Cheng Na just smirks, dismissing the idea of looking at boring digital numbers. She has a much more hands-on way of testing a student's true ability. A red system warning flashes across the air, signaling that the instructor is activating high-level teaching permissions. The atmosphere in the arena shifts instantly. The all-system training simulation arena begins to open, digitizing the world around them. Cheng Na stands ready as the ground starts to transform into something much grimmer. Zio Lin is suddenly transported into a dark, purple-hued dimension. He grips his sword tight as a pile of bones begins to stir right in front of him. Cheng Na undergoes a complete transformation, her body encased in sharp bone armor. She wields a massive, glowing, jagged blade that dwarfs Zio Lin's basic weapon. The simulation is fully active now, revealing a vast graveyard filled with a literal mountain of skulls. A massive, rib-like structure looms over the battlefield as the system welcomes them. She explains that this space was built at an astronomical cost to mimic the harsh laws of the normal world. Zio Lin looks small against the jagged, bone-covered horizon. She reassures him that he won't actually die in this simulation, but she doesn't sound very comforting. She stands behind him like a dark shadow. A close-up of her face reveals a cold, predatory look. She warns him that while death isn't permanent here, every bit of pain he feels will be 100% real. Skeletons begin to crawl out of the cracked earth, their purple eyes glowing with malice. Cheng Na watches with a cruel smile, having spent a fortune in points to set this up. She goads him to prove his level 3 swordsmanship in actual combat as a horde of undead soldiers rises behind her. Zio Lin looks back, realizing he's completely surrounded. The instructor takes a seat on a throne of bone, looking down on the chaos. She notes that these skeleton soldiers are about as strong as the goblins he faced in the exam. She offers a carrot with the stick, promising that if he clears this dungeon, he can skip her class today and any time in the future. Zio Lin ducks a massive cleaver just in time. A system window clarifies the stakes: survive for 40 minutes or kill 20 skeletons. Zio Lin grips his sword, his jaw tight as the challenge begins in earnest. Sweat beads on Zio Lin's forehead as he realizes just how insane this instructor is. Throwing a freshman into a dungeon like this just to verify their level is beyond extreme. He checks his gear and finds he's only equipped with a basic iron dagger. His physical attack evaluation is a pathetic rank E, leaving him at a massive disadvantage. The skeletons roar as they lunge forward with rusted blades. Zio Lin knows he has 2 ways to win, and neither of them looks easy. Option 1 is to just stall for time, staying on the defensive until the clock runs out. He crouches low, dodging a sweeping attack that clears the ground behind him. Or he can choose violence. He prepares to strike as a skeleton soldier looms over him, rusted sword raised high. He moves with surprising speed, his blade slicing clean through the undead soldier's ribcage. He isn't just defending, he's going on the hunt. A clean decapitation confirms his first kill, and the counter on his screen ticks up to 1. Zio Lin keeps his focus sharp, already looking for the next target. He does the math as he fends off multiple attackers at once. If he hits their weak points, it'll take 40 precise strikes to reach his goal of 20 kills. Zio Lin's eyes glow with a blue intensity as he enters his flow state. He's determined to push through the physical gap with pure technique. Cheng-na watches from her throne, secretly impressed that the kid actually had the guts to charge headlong into the fray. It's not the reaction she expected. She thought he'd be terrified, begging for mercy the moment the skeletons started rising. Instead, he's actually putting up a real fight. She analyzes his every move, noting that his footwork and slashing angles are more than just decent. He knows how to generate force despite his low base stats. Zio Lin's movements are crisp, his judgment sharp as he weaves through the undead crowd. He strikes with a purple flash, taking down another soldier with surgical precision. Cheng-na realizes he's a tier above the idiots, who only know how to swing their weapons blindly. He's making up for his trash stats with sheer skill. Zio Lin is gasping for air, sweat drenching his shirt as the strain begins to take its toll. He's pushing his body past its limits, using every trick he knows to keep going. He's reached 13 solo kills, which is an absolute miracle considering his level. But as he blocks another blow, his arms are shaking visibly. The timer shows 28 minutes left, but Zio Lin is already at his breaking point. He's surrounded by skeletons, his sword heavy in his hands. A skeleton lands a heavy hit, sending a shock of pain through his shoulder. Zio Lin grunts, his vision blurring from exhaustion. Cheng-na stands up abruptly and calls out from her throne, telling him that's enough and he needs to face reality. She thinks he's done more than enough to prove his point. She tells him to just give up and surrender obediently before he gets seriously hurt. Zio Lin just stares at the ground, leaning heavily on his sword. Suddenly, a system notification flashes. Skill activated, heavy/LV, 1. Zio Lin's eye snaps open, glowing with a new, dangerous light. He unleashes a massive purple wave of energy that tears through the skeletal front line. The kill count jumps to 16 in a single, devastating explosion of power. Cheng-na's jaw drops in pure shock as she recognizes the skill he just used. She can't wrap her head around how a freshman could possibly have heavy slash. Zio Lin becomes a blur of purple steel, the counter ticking up faster than the eye can follow. 17, 18, 19, he's cutting through them like they're made of paper. He drives his blade straight through the final skeleton's skull with the last of his strength. The counter hits 20 out of 20, and the dungeon objective is finally complete. Zio Lin gasps for air, sweat dripping as he finally finds a moment of peace. Behind him, Cheng-na watches, her expression unreadable under her bone armor helm. "Senior, your requirement," Zio Lin huffs out, looking back at her. "I completed it." Cheng-na stands tall, staring down at the exhausted freshman. She realizes getting an S rank wasn't just luck. This kid actually has the skill to back it up. The scene shifts to the sleek exterior of the student council office. Inside, a green-haired assistant drops a heavy stack of documents onto the desk. The student council president, a calm youth with blue hair, looks up from his work. The assistant points to a specific file, looking worried. She tells the president there's a certain class schedule he really needs to take a look at. A freshman's course selection is very bizarre," she says, holding the folder tight. The president leans back, looking at the name, Zio Lin. He's stunned to see the freshman has selected every single course available at the academy. The clock strikes 12:04 p.m. at the Dawn Academy Infirmary. Back at the infirmary, Cheng-na is in a heated argument with the president. She snaps that she didn't mean to mess him up, but she had to test him in the middle of class. "Nana, this isn't the first time you've treated freshmen like this," the president says calmly. Cheng-na barks back, asking if he has a problem with her teaching methods. The president sighs, explaining that the new students just enrolled and she doesn't need to be so hardcore. Xiao Lin lies unconscious in the hospital bed behind them. Chengna stands her ground, arguing that being strict is the only way to prepare them. To her, coddling new students is the real cruelty. The student council president closes his eyes, clearly exhausted by her stubbornness. Chengna looks away, her expression softening ever so slightly, though she remains silent. On the bed, Xiao Lin's eyes flutter open as he groans in pain. The president leans in, noticing he's finally awake. Chengna watches from the foot of the bed, her arms crossed. Xiao Lin sits up slowly, looking around the high-tech room. The president welcomes him back, nodding that the academy's infirmary facilities are top-notch. He explains to Xiao Lin that full immersion fields are different from normal dungeons. Your stamina and mental energy don't just reset when you leave. The exhaustion follows you back. He folds his hands, telling Xiao Lin he passed out from sheer exhaustion. "How do you feel now?" he asks with a gentle smile. Xiao Lin stretches his arm, saying he feels much better, though his muscles are still sore. The president tells him to just rest a bit more. The president gives a reassuring look. He then turns to Chengna, calling her Nana again and asking her to leave so he can speak with Xiao Lin in private. She looks genuinely annoyed. Chengna bites her lip, looking like she has a lot more she wants to say. "HMPH, fine, I'll go," she snaps, turning on her heel and heading for the door. Her heavy boots click against the floor as she makes a quick exit. Suddenly, she stops and looks back over her shoulder. "Hey, punk," she shouts, getting Xiao Lin's attention. She tells him she's a woman of her word, and that his early leave privilege is officially approved. But her tone turns serious, as she warns him that students who try to train both magic and martial arts never end well. Without another word, she steps out and slams the sliding door shut with a loud bang. Xiao Lin watches the closed door, thinking to himself that this senior isn't quite the she-dinosaur monster everyone makes her out to be. The president clears his throat, signaling it's time to get back to business. He asks if Xiao Lin read the handbook, which explicitly warns against taking too many courses at once. A digital display shows the physical branch, covering swordsmanship, movement, and general physical training. Another display shows the magic branch, which includes meditation, spells, and perception skills. He admits that dual training gives an edge in the first year, as it allows a student to handle a wider variety of combat situations. But he warns that as the curriculum deepens, each branch splits into hundreds of specialized subpaths. By the second and third years, trying to master both would require 6 or 7 times the effort of a normal student. He compares the courses to a branching tree that splits finer and finer the further you go. Xiao Lin simply replies, "I know." Xiao Lin looks determined, staring straight ahead. "But I still want to give it a shot," he declares. He clenches his fist, confident that with his top student talent backing him up, he can absolutely pull it off. A holographic screen suddenly pings with a notification. The president looks down to see a new message from the principal. The student council president pauses, staring at the holographic notification with a surprised expression. "All right then, Junior Xiao Lin," he says, turning back to the student. "Since the principal has already approved your course selection, I won't harp on it." He explains that the schedule needs re-optimizing, and a new timetable will be ready by tomorrow morning. Xiao Lin sits in the infirmary bed, thanking the president for the help. Xiao Lin looks down, his brow furrowed with suspicion. He wonders how the principal's message arrived at such a perfectly timed moment. It's as if he's been being watched the entire time. Outside, the sun begins to set over the sprawling, majestic campus of Dawn Academy. In the grand principal's office, a figure in a dark robe stands before a towering, ornate window that looks out over the grounds. The principal, an elderly man with long white hair and a flowing beard, stares out with a weary gaze. A playful voice breaks the silence, asking why he has such a long face. Floating in a cloud of digital particles, the Dawn Academy Central Main Control System, AI, appears as a teenage girl with silver hair and glowing red eyes. She teases the principal, asking him to share his troubles so she can have a good laugh. The principal glances back at the mischievous AI, nodding that she seems to have been influenced by the anime culture of Blue Star lately. The Dawn Academy's central main control system, AI, twirls in the air, her white dress fluttering. She playfully asks if her current look is trending and offers to help recruit more freshmen if it is. The principal turns toward her, his expression stern. He reminds her that as the Academy's central brain, her existence is a secret known only to a select few. The Dawn Academy's central main control system, AI, puffs out her cheeks in a pout, complaining that even after 100 years, the principal remains as boring as ever. She floats up behind him, pointing out that this year's freshman class is exceptionally strong. She mentions the double S-rank student and asks why that doesn't make him happy. The principal looks away, explaining that a normal person's total attributes usually average around 10 points. He continues, stating that the Academy's admission baseline is at least 20 points. However, Xiao Lin's total stats only add up to 9, making him appear completely ordinary. Talents can only be detected after enrollment, he continues, his voice low and serious. This means that by all accounts, Xiao Lin should never have received an admission notice. The Dawn Academy's central main control system, AI, laughs it off, suggesting it might just be a lucky mistake by the admissions department that landed them a genius. The principal turns his back to her, staring out the window once more. He reveals that when he tried to pull the boys' records, he found something truly disturbing. He stands still in the middle of the silent office, the weight of his words hanging in the air. There is no record of Xiao Lin's admission in the system at all. Inside the Dawn Academy's high-tech command center, the AI reports that total enrollment stands at 1,360 students. But there's a catch. The central computer only has records for 1,359 admission letters. One is completely missing. The principal is baffled since something like this has never happened in the Academy's history. He asks the main control program what's going on. The AI confirms that 1,360 letters were definitely issued, so the math should be right. Growing suspicious, the principal tells her to pull up Xiao Lin's admission letter immediately. The AI gives him a smug look and delivers the bad news. Even as the principal, he doesn't have the security clearance to see that specific file. He's stunned. A simple admission letter is locked away from the head of the school. The AI admits she's just as surprised as he is, but the system's rules are absolute. The principal stares ahead, deep in thought about this mysterious student. He decides to let the matter go for now, realizing some things are better left alone. Instead, he uses his highest authority to encrypt every other freshman's letter to keep the database secure. The AI accepts the command without hesitation. Data streams fly past her as she begins the heavy-duty encryption process. Seconds later, she confirms that all 1,359 accessible letters are now locked under the tightest security. That one remaining file is still untouched, maintaining its own maximum level of protection that no one can crack. The AI looks at him, sensing he's trying to hide the identity of the student that missing letter belongs to. The principal mentions he's headed back to the New World tomorrow. He wants to make sure that while he's gone, nobody gets in the way of Xiao Lin's development. He officially leaves the Academy's internal affairs in the AI's hands. The next day in the cafeteria, things are bustling with students grabbing their meals. A senior student named Zhang Tingting spots Xiao Lin and recognizes him as the kid who fainted after just one class. Xiao Lin is caught off guard, realizing his embarrassing debut has already become campus gossip. Tingting warns him that running into someone like Senior Cheng Na is just pure bad luck. Xiao Lin tries to change the subject, asking if only teachers can access the holographic simulation training field. She looks at him like he's crazy and asks if he's even bothered to check his monitor permissions yet. She explains that being a class monitor comes with some pretty serious perks. A digital interface pops up, showing he can manage his classmates' data and status. He also has the power to approve or deny requests for the simulation field from anyone in his class. Even better, as a monitor, he can apply to use the field himself without needing anyone else's okay. Xiao Lin finds the button and decides to give it a shot right then and there. Tingting tells him to apply for student mode, though she's sure a freshman will just get auto-rejected. Just as she says that, a notification dings on his screen. He actually found the option. Ting literally spits out her drink when she sees the approved message flash across his interface. She's totally floored. Her own monitor had to wait 3 weeks for an approval, yet this kid got it instantly. She warns him that the simulation field is normally sophomore territory and costs a whopping 500 redemption points just to open. Those points only come back if you pass the training, fail, and they're gone for good. Zio Lin realizes the stakes are high. He only has 800 points total, so failure isn't an option. He remembers the principal mentioning that only the top 3 in the upcoming exam get to go to the new world early. Then the ponytail-haired male teacher, Chin Chuan, didn't forget to remind everyone that the monitor position would be re-elected right after the big exam. He remembered Wang Dalin roaring in contempt, barking that once the election comes around, a weakling like Zio Lin wouldn't stand a snowball's chance in hell of keeping his position. Zio Lin knows the heavy hitters in Class 7, like Gu Zioyu and Wang Dalin, are waiting for their turn to take his spot. He narrows his eyes, determined to grind and get stronger before the re-election exam takes everything away. Zio Lin says his goodbyes to Zhang Tingting, heading off to his next class. Tingting watches him go, impressed by his dedication. She thinks it's no wonder a hard worker like him became the acting monitor. Over at the gym, students are finishing up their workout and heading out for the day. Liang Ziyu, a freshman from Class 6, is fuming. He can't believe someone with such garbage stats was chosen as an acting monitor, calling the decision insane. In a fit of rage, a muscular student nearby completely crushes his water bottle. This is Wang Dalin, and he's just as angry. He insults the counselors, calling them flunkies who couldn't even make it past their first year. He snarls that a counselor's vision must be trash if they're backing someone like Zio Lin. He looks down at the gym floor, calling Zio Lin a poser for staying late for solo training. Wang Dalin isn't just mad at Zio Lin. He's also bitter about Gu Zioyu looking down on him, promising to show her what he's capable of. Liang Ziyu smirks and suggests they don't wait 3 months for the official assessment. He wants to teach Zio Lin a lesson right now. He tells Dalin he has a connection in the disciplinary department and suggests framing Zio Lin for a rule violation to tank his points.